Ladies and gentlemen, I am at war with Liquid Death. If those aren't familiar, Liquid Death is a canned water and flavored water beverage company. And I tweeted this. Now that I don't have to be polite anymore, Liquid Death is absolute-ish and misleads the public into thinking they don't use plastic, but their cans are lined with plastic. We will be office spacing the remainder of our stock, which we did. We went outside and we just smashed all the cans. I was informed yesterday that Liquid Death has fired their entire professional skateboard team. I don't like Liquid Death. I've never been a big fan. I actually don't mind their drinks. Actually, I'll give credit to their drinks. Let me pause for a second. The brand is terrible. The low sugar tea, actually not bad. So shout out to Liquid Death in that regard. I don't care for canned water. I think it's kind of cringe marketing, whatever. Richie Jackson, who is a friend of ours and rides for our skate company, the Boonies, was also sponsored by Liquid Death and informed me that he had been, as well as everyone from the skateboard team, terminated. The only reason I held my tongue on Liquid Death was out of the conflict of interest. Now, some have said, why didn't you speak up sooner on this company? And I said, there's a conflict. I work with Richie. He's sponsored by them. It's now that he's not, Liquid Death has a slogan, "Death to Plastic," on all of their products. Or I don't know about all of their products, but on all the cans you buy, it says "Death to Plastic." So a couple of years ago, we had been talking about phthalates, PCBs, and other plastic leaching into drinks, and we find it gross. Most food is wrapped in plastic. What are you going to do about it? So I said, let's buy some glass bottles. We bought Saratoga Springs, bottled at the source spring water. I believe the twist-off caps do have some plastic, but hey, better than most, right? And we also bought plastic water bottles for those that literally don't care, because we're not diehard activists on plastic. We just say, let's just do a little bit better. Seamus is drinking plastic water bottles right now.
That's what you guys have. You don't have the glass ones anymore, do you?
We have the reusable glass ones downstairs.
Oh, I didn't know those were there. I'm going to use those.
pH 8.4, whatever that means.
So I don't care all that much. I'm drinking a Spindrift right now, and these cans are lined with plastic. So what happens is Richie tells me, he's like, hey, I ride for Liquid Death. We should get a bunch of this. It's in aluminum cans. And I was like, hey, that's a good point. So I bought a ton of it. We've restocked it consistently. And then my brother said, it's all plastic. And I did not know that aluminum cans were actually plastic bags. Take a look at this image. This is a Liquid Death can after the metal has been eaten away by caustic soda. And it's actually a plastic bag wrapped in aluminum. Had I known, and I did not know this, aluminum cans are actually aluminum plastic cans, I would have been like, hey, I'll order some whatever, but I'm not doing that. Instead, I stopped ordering glass bottles and I ordered Liquid Death cans because in my mind, I was like, now we have the alternative, until I found out it was actually all lined with plastic. What happened? In effect, Liquid Death tricked me through misleading marketing into stopping my purchase of glass bottles, which are like 99% plastic free, except for the cap, I believe, and into purchasing a higher quantity of single-use unrecyclable plastic through misleading marketing. I was pissed. I'm like, why do they say death to plastic when all of their products contain plastic? Well, I tweeted out, Liquid Death said, our founder would be happy to have a public debate with you about why you think the company is absolute-ish and the global issue of single-use plastic bottles. Or is this more of a road rage kind of thing, just yelling out the window of your car as you drive away? Well, I then tweeted, gentlemen's bet, Liquid Death will back out as soon as management figures out who their social media person is tweeting with, and that I sponsor one of the team riders they just kicked off. Well, turns out we have confirmed Friday for a debate. And I'll just tell you exactly what I'm thinking, because there is no debate. It is plain as day. There is nothing barring Liquid Death from disclosing on all of their packages this product does contain 0.5 to 1, I believe it's 1 gram of plastic. The argument they're making is they're trying to trick you into thinking that because they exist, people are buying less plastic water bottles. That is false and illogical. And I'll give you a simple logical assessment. Tim Pool walks into a gas station. I am conscious of phthalates and PCBs and plastics and plastic pollution. What product will I buy? I have the choice between Nestle's brand of plastic water bottle or Saratoga Springs glass water bottle. It's obvious. I buy the glass water bottle. Joe Schmo does not give one crap about plastic. What product will he buy? He's going to buy a plastic water bottle. It's cheaper. 90 cents, $1.24 maybe? Now let's say Liquid Death enters the market and they write death to plastic on their cans. And I was unaware that all cans, all of them are lined with plastic. Hey, Coke doesn't advertise death to plastic. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really offended that they have plastic. I then walk into a gas station. I'm now looking at 3 choices: an expensive glass bottle, a cheaper can or a plastic water bottle, and I say, death to plastic. I'll buy the cheaper can. Because of that, they have increased the consumption of plastic while trying to argue that people will choose not to drink out of plastic bottles. That is incorrect. In fact, I did the research, and there is nothing indicating any slump in sales of plastic water bottles since the emergence of Liquid Death. In fact, Liquid Death also launched something called Death Dust, which is single-use plastic packets with flavors that you can put into their water cans or into water in general. It is I believe it's a paper packet, foil lined with a plastic liner inside because you have to keep it sealed. So this is a company that uses edgy marketing to convince people that they are anti-plastic. Meanwhile, they are generally just increasing unrecyclable single-use plastic consumption while pretending like they're not. I will stress again once more the logic. Anybody who already is aware of plastic pollution is going to buy non-plastic products. Anybody who doesn't care will buy a plastic water bottle. The only person they're marketing to is the person who may have purchased glass instead. By launching this product, they have displaced by 50% the amount of non-plastic water products that would be purchased on the market. They have consumed the market share and increased plastic. Therefore, we announced we are launching pool water. And it's funny because I already got people being like, Tim's the king of grifters by doing this. So it took us about 2 hours. And the response I got to the Liquid Death thing was that glass is too expensive. And Liquid Death can sell a cheap. So what they're really saying is, listen, people are going to buy the cheap product. And so there's much less plastic in a can. So people are going to buy the cheaper can. And I said, okay, at volume, he could make a big profit on glass bottles too. So why not sell glass? Honest question. We did the math. Did the research. It took us 2 hours to find an artesian water source in Virginia. This means it's a natural water aquifer that filters and cleans the water. And then it's UV blasted to kill off any bacteria. And they told us they could get this packaged out the door, expedited 3 weeks. That's how long it takes to do the production of the bottles, the labels, and then supply the waters and get them packaged for shipping. There probably will be plastic shrink wrap or something. I am not this, plastic's so evil. I would like there to be a product that reduces the amount of plastic in the food product we are consuming. And as so long as people are going to drink water, why not have a glass bottle? Did the math. With this, pool water, which should be available for pre-order starting tomorrow. Pool water, huh? Andy, our boy Andy came up with the name. It's clever. We are going to make about 8 cents on every bottle we sell. We will not make money on this product, figuratively. Like, obviously, we can't lose money. So we will be earning about 8 cents per bottle. And that likely will not cover all of our staffing or anything. We're looking at probably aiming towards break even. If we were at volume, like Liquid Death, and selling millions, I think the estimates are 175 million cans. We'd be in the profit because the more volume you have, the more you can decrease your cost in bulk because everybody makes more money. So we'll put it this way. If we made 1 cent, we could reduce the price. If we made 1 cent per bottle but sold 175 million bottles, I think we're all pretty dang happy with that. Making 8 cents and selling 175 million bottles would be great. Right now, we're not looking to make much money, but we did this to prove a point. Liquid Death absolutely could have put their drink in glass bottles, which would reduce production of plastic and consumption of plastic, they could have used paper sticker labels, which are still going to contain some polymers because you can't get away from plastic. Instead, they chose to use plastic-lined cans, label it death to plastic, and then lead people to believe that they're somehow fighting this, not to mention the death dust, which increases plastic consumption. I've been asked why I care so much, because I care. If you follow me at all, you know that the one thing I really hate is people lying to you. When the corporate press lies. I've never been a staunch conservative. I am just here because the media won't stop lying about everything. I don't care who you are, what you do. I get pissed when people put out false information to rip people off. So that's why we launched this. And I'm going to have a debate with this guy on Friday, and I'm going to prove the point. I don't know what his argument's going to be, because there's no proof or evidence that they've reduced plastic consumption at all. In fact, 1 for 1, every can Liquid Death produces is identical in plastic consumption to Coca-Cola. So what is the effing argument? Death to Plastic was a greenwashing lie to trick people who cared into buying a plastic product, and I am pissed about it.
So buy pool water.
I mean, listen,
Sparkling
man.
water options too.
So eventually we are planning on doing sparkling water. That'll be called spa water. And the green tea we launch will be called pond water.
That's great.
That's
The best product. I wonder what the FTC has to say about this. I mean, they really ought to be looking into it. It's deceptive advertising, deceptive marketing, in my opinion. I mean, to me, you know, especially because I'm big in Maha, right? I mean, Maha's my space. You know, the dangers of consuming, you know, and listen, I have to consume things in plastic all the time. I can't lie and say that I don't, but you know, to tell everybody, hey, we're plastic free, death to plastic, no plastic, you know, I mean.
But they don't say that. That's the clever play. They don't say plastic free. They just say death to plastic, aluminum can, because they know the manipulation is the average person doesn't realize it's actually an aluminum plastic can. I think RFK Jr., I got to get him on the phone. It should be required under FTC that aluminum cans are labeled as aluminum and plastic cans.
Agreed. 100%. Listen, it's misleading. And I would argue that even though they don't come out and say plastic free, I would argue this is absolutely false, misleading advertising.
I think so.
100%.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.